And we got this. We good? So you guys can see my screen?
Yes. Co-host again. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday morning. We are close to the end of the week, and hopefully you have some good plans for this weekend. So today I wanted to talk about positivity, happiness. Like, oftentimes we equate being happy as a result of success or as a result of things that we have done. And yet research shows that being happy and or being in a positive state can actually help you create the success that you're looking for, right? And so if we focus our energies on starting with the right mindset, creating an environment or an atmosphere of positivity, of happiness, we can actually impact the outcome, the production that we that we are able to achieve. And so I think that's something that I think is tangible, something that we can truly work on for ourselves, that will have long-term impacts that we may not even anticipate. So how do we go about this, right? Well, first off, let me give you some statistics just to kind of really hit this home for you, especially those who have employees or work in are in an working environment. Research has shown that happy employees are 12% more productive than unhappy ones on average, right? It can benefit the team leaders and the organization by having low turnover rates. Happy employees aim to treat customers well, resulting in happier customers and clients. Companies with satisfied staff see a significant increase in cost and time efficiency among employees. Having happy employees means fewer sick days or work breaks. Increased productivity equals higher profits for the company. And happy employees also help promote your company by showcasing positive work culture, right? 3 in 4 adults consider a company's culture before applying for a job. So they want to know that they're going to enjoy it, that they're going to be happy there, right? 36% of employees would willingly give up $5,000 a year in salary to be happier at work. So they'll make less just so that they are in a positive environment, right? 63% of employees are satisfied at jobs where they feel respected. A bit of gratitude makes employees 50% more productive, right? Especially when it comes from their manager or supervisor. When was the last time that you showed gratitude to those that worked for you? 60% of employees with access to free food at work are happy with their job. So those lunch and learns, love them lunch and learns with food. 9 in 10 workers have a career mentor saying who have a career mentor say they're happy in their jobs. Happy salespeople produce 30% more profit, and 72% of professionals believe having more work benefits would increase their job satisfaction. So this is statistics from research that has been done, right? So happy people create more productive environments, right? and just creates this cycle. And so how do we impact that environment? And how do we do things one for ourselves? Because, for a lot of us, we're an employee of one. If you have your own business, and so you creating a happy work environment or happy, positive state for yourself will allow you to have some of this benefit. So before I move forward, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Does this kind of ring true to any of you guys, or were you surprised with some of these statistics?
I got a little something I want to talk about with this couple questions. So, you know,
Uh-huh.
I have 4 employees, and there's a difference in employees, right? You give gratitude, you can show them, you can buy them lunch, you can, do all that stuff. But a lot of people feel like they're entitled these days. How do we navigate through the times? Like, I grew up in different way. Like, you work hard, you show that you can work hard, you show that you work harder. That's how you achieve. That's how you can win and achieve more, right? Get a raise, move up in
Mm-hmm.
positions. A lot of people are entitled these days. A lot of employees don't want to work the same way because other employees, maybe, or the market, or what people are saying.
You're on mute, Najee.
Sorry about that.
So
So
I
what is everybody's thoughts, or what are some positive things, or what can we do to navigate through this? Or what are your thoughts? I'm just trying to understand,
and
I'm going
I'd
through
love to
this.
hear anybody else's thoughts on this for Najee. But I know for me, my thought is, first of all, it starts with communication, right? So
Right.
we call it entitlement, and yet it may just be a breakdown in communication and expectations. Do we have a fully formed set of expectations that we've expressed to our employees, that they know what they need to hit and or exceed, right, in order to fulfill the need of the job? Like, are we clear on that? In order to level up, what is it that we need to be able to do? Sometimes we as employers don't do a great job of that, right? And setting expectations, and 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 then the reverse. What are you expecting out of this job and this position? Where are you hoping to go? Because if they understand that you are looking to help support them to grow, right? That we're going somewhere, it may be an easier conversation, an easier connection, in my opinion. Anybody else have any thoughts for Najee? Because I think it's a good question. It's a fair point.
That's great. Thank you.
I will add to that because I agree with everything you said, Val. You and I kind of align in that way. We have to accept those expectations, but we also have to understand where they're coming from. We have to listen to understand instead of listen to be right. So a lot of the time when we have employees, they're working for our dream. And so we have to, like Val said, meet them where they are and let them know that they are a part of it. They're part of a partnership, and explain to them their importance in their role. And sometimes we see entitlement as, I mean, we see it as entitlement, but it's really burnout and resentment because we're in the grind and our reward is the success of our business. But what is the reward to our employees? Yes, they get a paycheck, but again, they're building our dreams. So we have to look at it from that perspective.
Absolutely. Especially in this day and age where everything on social media and messaging is telling everybody that they can do it on their own, and they can build their own, so are you able to express a message that allows them to build something within your vision and dream for themselves?
Hey, Val,
Yes, John.
Najee, have you ever heard of a book called Dream Manager?
I have. Yes, I've read it.
So I would definitely say, to piggyback on what Carissa was saying, you definitely have to find somebody who is in line with your vision, not only of where you are, but where you're going. And that entitlement may show up as entitlement now, but actually what it shows up as is confidence in their ability to help you get to where you're trying to get to.
I like that, Jana.
Make sure
Thank
that
you.
your employees are living within their magic. Like, have conversations with them about what their magic is. What do they enjoy doing? What do they not enjoy doing? What can you possibly take off your plate? Like, you may have two employees. One enjoys like the analytical side of the business and the other enjoys like customer engagement. Do you have them in the right seat on your plane or your bus or wherever, whatever you travel with? You just have to make sure that the people that are on your team are going where you're going. Hire for where you're going, not where you are.
Absolutely agreed. Yep.
Love
That's how
it.
it's set up.
Oh, good, good. So then just from there, you know, and Najee, if you feel like you're not, the energy is not right, this is conversation, having a team sit down and saying, let's look, this is my goal. I want you guys to be happy. Let's talk about what that would look like. Go ahead, Leticia.
Can you clarify what you mean by entitlement,
Mm.
Well,
Najee?
I was hired. You know, I'm always interviewing and looking to grow my team. So my question was more like, you know, I have a team, with employees, and you know, of course, everybody's gonna have something. You know, sometimes they're on board, meaning like, you know, they're motivated, they're getting going, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and you know, people sometimes get lazy, right? So when I'm always hiring people, I feel like people want more than what they're worth, and so I figure that's like a kind of an entitlement. Like they feel entitled to something because the market is saying, you know, different. You know, the market is saying you have to pay more to get people these days, but they are not working or they're not at their potential, and you don't know if they're at their potential until you hire them, and so you have to take that risk. You know, so it's a lot of what, if that makes sense. I'm not. Does that answer the question?
Yes. I just wanted to be clear on what you mean by the entitlement part, and that's really helpful to understand your perspective. Um, and I'm just thinking, from my end, is just thinking about, you know, just kind of putting yourself back in the place of before you were the boss, you were the employee, and see where they, you know, kind of going through some of the thoughts of what their goals are, what their mindset, what would have been things that you would have thought about to try to like empathize and really just kind of connect and relate. And like they've, you know, people have said their magic, their goals, their ambitions, and see how you find that space where everything connects, and being clear about what your expectations are. Like they think she talked about it the other day, Jana, about like, you know, the top, or Ashley was about those top percent of the productivity things, the 80%. And just being really clear about what are those things that are really critical to you so that you're feeling like they are getting done in the time in timeline and, you know, service delivery times that you're looking for from your staff as well.
Yep, absolutely. Agreed.
All great advice. Yeah, all great advice. Thank you, Leticia. And you know, there are different ways where you, as you're having these conversations with your employees, where you things that you can focus on, right? I mean, do you have a company culture? Is it by design or by default, right? So, you know, having a conversation around what your expectations of your culture would look like, and or what the perception is from your employees of what the company culture is. Um, you know, those that you're looking to help level up, do they have mentors? I mean, you're in the space where you're getting fed, or your employees getting fed in the same way. So those are some things that you can look at to help kind of raise the vibrational level of the employees, and or the positivity in the space. So when we talk about happiness, let's kind of define it a little bit, right? Because happiness in general can look really different to everybody, right? To different people. And yet it is a state of subjective well-being that involves a positive mood in the moment and a positive viewpoint for the future, right? So you're feeling good now, and things are looking good going forward, right? So in general, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about happiness, and we're interchanging happiness with positivity, right? Because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a positive state. Some concepts that we're going to be talking about is from this book called The Happiness Advantage: How a Positive Brain Fuels Success in Work and Life. It's a great book, and this gentleman, Sean Acor, I was fortunate enough to be in the room with him speaking, and he did some minor exercises, but they were impactful because they really showed how it's really hard to stay in a negative state when you're doing something as simple as smiling, right? And when somebody is smiling at you, it's hard to stay in a negative state. And so he just took us through some exercises to show that you have the ability to shift your mood, your energy from a negative to a positive at any point, right? And so we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do to help shift, because we all have those days. We all have those moments where we're just not, it is not it. We are not, the mood is wrong. Things are already starting on the wrong foot, and the day just can go downhill if we don't proactively, do some things to kind of help turn things around. These are 7 principles out of the book that I just kind of wanted to point out to you. I'm not going to go over all 7 today, but this kind of gives you an idea so that hopefully you if this is something that you're wanting to focus on, that you see what some of the principles are for within this book. Tap on the happiness advantage, which we will talk about. Change outcomes with your fulcrum and lever. Create a positive Tetris effect. Fall forward, upward. Regain control with the Zorro circle. Transform habits with a 20-second rule, and invest in social support. Right. So these are 7 principles that he does get into in the book, and we're just going to talk about just a few of them. Okay. So tapping into the happiness advantage. You can train your brain to be more positive, right? And that's what we were talking about, being able to change your state for the immediate and for the long term, right? So these are just some tips for you that you can focus on, and that you can add into your routines to help create a consistent atmosphere of positivity. Meditation, really simple. We've talked about it over and over in these sessions through Jana and others that have come and spoken. Meditation is just an easy way to be able to create a feeling of calm and contentment in your space. And it can be as simple as, controlled breathing, right? We've talked about breathing. 5 minutes of meditation is enough to be able to help transform your state. Find something to look forward to, like a vacation or some kind of a fun excursion, tickets to a concert, and just something that you can have on your calendar. Say, next week I'm going here, so I'm going to take care of what I need to, because I'm gonna be there, and that's going to be a great time, and help to pull and push you forward. They suggest that as you plan your year, you plan your vacations and your family time first. So that way, everything else works around it. Committing conscious acts of kindness is really hard to stay in a bad state when you're doing something nice for other people, right? So 5 acts of kindness daily can help reduce stress and improve mental health, because you're doing for others, right? The altruistic side of humans, it's just hard to stay in a negative state when you're giving positivity and trying to do well for others, right? one of the suggestions in the book is send out 5 notes of gratitude daily. Anybody in your circle, right? And I mean, whether it's in your circle, it could even be, someone that you met yesterday and that you were just grateful for the interaction. But starting your day out with 5 notes of gratitude out to other people, which now spreads kind of positivity in their worlds as well, because they get to start off feeling like they're appreciated, right? Others are infuse positivity into your surroundings, like putting up pictures of loved ones in your workspace, right? Positive or relaxing music. I know sometimes when I don't want to do, like when I don't want to clean my house, I need to put some music on to get me moving, get me in that positive state to get me to do the work that I need to do, right? Even something as simple as going for a walk on a nice, bright, sunny day to help infuse positivity into your space, right? Exercising, we've talked enough about exercising, helps release endorphins to help reduce stress and improve your motivation, right? Just the act of being able to get out and get something done, moving for 20, 30 minutes puts you in a state of, oh, okay, I got that done. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do next? What am I going to get done now? Right? And just helps to elevate that motivation. Spending money on meaningful experiences and activities has shown to have more of a lasting impact on happiness than buying something materialistic for yourself, right? You can either buy that outfit or you can buy that experience that will provide you with memories that you'll have for a lifetime, right? And so research has shown that having meaningful experiences can help improve your happiness, right? And then John talked about that magic, right? That magic is your signature strength, working in your magic, working in your core strength. Being able to put yourself and or your employees in a space where they are able to tap into their core skills daily is really important. Can you imagine your days being filled with having to do things that you're not good at every single day? Every single day? But if you are able to be in a space where you can be in your core skill, your joy zone daily, right? Can you imagine how that would help uplift and or improve the state of yourself and or your employees, being able to work in their magic space, magic zone? Any thoughts on the happiness advantage and some of the suggestions or tips here, or any others that you'd like to add of your own? No? Okay, then we're gonna keep moving forward. So one of the other principles is talks about changing the outcome with your fulcrum and your lever. Now, first I'm like, what's a fulcrum and a lever, right? This is fifth grade physics. And yet, so the fulcrum is a point, right? A focal point or a balance point, right? In the first picture, it's represented by the triangle, right? And then of course the lever is the long lever that will allow you to now lift an object of any size depending on the fulcrum point, which can be moved, by the way, right? The point could be moved to help improve your leverage, right? And then the lever, which can be extended or strengthened, that can help lift something even stronger. And so famous scientist and mathematician Archimedes theorized that with a long enough lever and the right fulcrum, a man can single-handedly move the world. And what he means by that is that with the right fulcrum and lever, you can move almost anything. And so in this conversation around happiness, we're talking about your mindset being your fulcrum, being that balance point, which can be moved and shifted, by the way, while your belief is your lever. So by shifting your mindset and extending your belief of what's possible, you can magnify your ability to create what originally seemed impossible. Your perceived reality is so powerful that it shapes your world and your outcomes. I mean, if you are in a space, for instance, as a realtor, I found myself early in my career in a space where top producers were creating a certain level of production. And in my world, that was about 4 million volume. That was the top producers. And so my world was a ceiling of this is what we can create and what I can create. And yet when I put myself in a space, in a larger space with realtors that were doing 20, 30, 40, 50 million, 100 million, I realized and understood that my world, it totally shifted my worldview as far as what was possible, and my production increased, right? So my perceived reality grew. Your belief about your potential defines what you can achieve. Because I believed that, $4 or $5 million in volume was top producing, right? Was a level to achieve that kind of impacted my potential. And yet when I saw that 100 million was possible, just as possible with people that had similar skill sets, I understood that my possibility ceiling, could change. So with the right mindset and beliefs, you can achieve greater success and fulfillment from work and life. Have you found yourself in a space, or was there a time in your life where you were able to put yourself in a space that allowed you to shift your mindset and expand and believe in something that was possible, whereas before maybe it wasn't? Anybody?
I could go. So one of the things for me was thinking about, going from scaling, right? Was the scaling part was thinking like, going from, one person to 2 people to 5 people. And thinking that, because everybody kind of keeps that kind of scale or the growth close to the vest, it's really mystified. So it's really hard, especially if you don't have the legacy of it and knowing all the in and outs, and have maybe not having a corporate experience and seeing what scaling looks like, and figuring out like what tools will help you get there. As I said earlier in some sessions when I had listened to Guiding Heroes with Dave and with Carissa, that we had spoken about rocket fuel and just finding the different resources to be like, this is possible. I just have to kind of start getting some plans and some steps in place for myself. And that growth and scale could happen when I wasn't really sure how to go about it, figured it out.
I love it. Thank you for sharing, Cecilia. I this past week, actually, last Friday, I was actually at a workshop called KW Wealth, and we had homework before we even got in the door. The homework was to create a plan and that allowed you to be at $50 million net worth at the end of 30 years. I don't know about you, but I haven't ever put myself in a position, like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I know that. And yet I've never put myself in a position to sit down and look like what it would actually take for me to be worth something as much as $50 million strategically, right, in 30 years. And so the exercise, we sat down, I sat down with my husband, did the exercise. Do you know it came down to buying 2 multifamilies over the course of 30 years to be able to be worth $50 million. That's it. 2 multifamilies a year. That's what it came down to. If I had never done the exercise, I wouldn't have realized what was that was possible, right? And so it was a great experience to be able to help expand my world and my thought view of what was possible. And so now 50 million is very possible, right? So changing our fulcrum and changing our mindset to and extending our beliefs in what's possible. I like this one because have you ever like just found yourself in crisis mode and just everything is just going crazy, right? Like you can't focus. Your best solutions come when you're thinking clearly, right? And creatively. And yet when we're in crisis mode, all that logic goes out the window when things are going crazy, right? Or when you feel out of control because there are so many things going on that you cannot control. And yet the Zorro circle talks about being able to refocus on small, manageable goals like this little circle. Like, this is something I can control and I can do. I'm just going to do this, right? And then gradually being able to expand as you rebuild your confidence and your control. I can take care of this. If there's nothing else I can do today, I can get out of the bed today. If there's nothing else I'm going to be able to do, I can get out of bed and I can take a shower. Right? Or I can have, right? So just this is the my little circle and expanding that. And so if you ever find yourself in a place, in a space where things are just, you just feel like you can't control anything, intentionally focus on just the things that you can control and then stack and grow upon that. Does this resonate with anybody?
Absolutely. Every day. You always get hit in the morning, first thing. And sometimes things can happen early. Forgot who said the other day, why would you let 30 seconds or 60 seconds of someone's bad news ruin your whole day? So only control what you can control.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're creating an atmosphere or environment of positivity, you kind of help create a little buffer around some of that, right? This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Investing in social support, because in times of difficulty and stress, we need social support. And yet, when we're in that state, we tend to kind of withdraw from other people. We bury ourselves in work, or we kind of reduce time with our friends and family. We distance and or separate when we're in a stressful or in a down state. And yet that's the time when we need them most, right? Whether it be spending time with your loved ones, family, friends, right? Spending time with a mentor, even a therapist, or even other like-minded colleagues, going to a networking event, somewhere where you're able to get an injection of positivity or upliftment from other people. Investing in social support, your social capital is huge, right? In the event that we went to on wealth, the gentleman said there is nothing more valuable that I have gained over my wealth building journey than the social capital that I have, right? Investing in other people and creating relationships that allow me to grow in ways that I would never have imagined. Those relationships are relationships that we can lean on in times in difficult times. Yes, Leticia.
I just want to add that it's important that when we're thinking about our teams, that we factor in these aspects, the things where life is going to happen, and really think about how we show up for our team when these kind of things happen, right? Sometimes, we just kind of have a business plan and a model and expectations that just account for how things are going to go well all the time, but really not thinking and factoring in that if something doesn't, if there's a death, if there's an emergency with everything else, like, how are you going to react? Because I think at the end of the day, it really boils down to how we show up when our staff and our team is in their own crisis moment. And if they feel that the reaction is always going to be like, this person does not have my back, this person is, you just don't show up for me either, then that creates a certain kind of energy. So picking that piece up, that's part of the social support that even in your work family, you want to know and think about what that looks like.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, we intentionally put in quarterly team building events, activities, so that are just meant to be fun, positive, uplifting, where we get to interact in a positive way as a team, so that I'm hopefully kind of putting in the time already, right? Pre-scheduling the time to be able to put back some positivity within our work environment. And there's been days, I remember there was a day last year where it was just the energy was just too funky. It was just off. And I say, you know what? Instead of a team meeting with it today, we're going to sit down, we're going to sit on this couch together, and we're going to just have a good time, right? We're just going to chill because we've been on overdrive and burning out in this market and this environment, and we needed a pause, right? And so I kind of forced it on the team together, and not just the appreciation of the team and just being able to take that pause, but over the course of the following weeks, the increased production was awesome to see, because we just, everybody recognized, okay, we needed that pause, and now we just got to get back to work. So be mindful of that, right? As Leticia said. And so just the last of it, understanding that this isn't just about you. When we talk about you increasing your happiness, I mean, we've talked about the employees, but understanding that as you increase your positivity and your atmosphere and your world of positivity, by changing your mood, you help to create a ripple effect that will impact those around you up to 3 degrees, right? You do an act of kindness for one person, that may in turn allow them or encourage them to do an act of kindness for someone else. And so you don't know what the ripple effect of your mood and energy is having on those around you. So why not make it positive, right? Why not make it a positive atmosphere and environment, which will then in turn feed back into you. Absolutely. Any last thoughts or comments?
It's a great session. I loved it.
Thank you, Najee.
I needed it this morning.
Well, I mean, when I choose these topics, these are things that I'm working on. Like, these are things that we are literally as a team going to read the Happiness Advantage together, because I want them to know that they have control over that as well, just as much as I do, right? Their states. So that might be something, if you're finding that the energy is just off, maybe that's something that you guys choose to do as a team or together, reading something like the Happiness Advantage. Okay. Thank you, Edwin. All right. Well, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. I hope you have a wonderful day, and look forward to tomorrow's session. All right.
Thank you. You too. Thank you, Val.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie.